How does that work, Dana? Because I see a lot of people, people always bring up the fighter pay with the UFC, but isn't Logan complaining right now that he didn't get his checks from Floyd? Is that like a boxing issue versus
you don't
boxing
thing? You don't ever hear that coming out.
To this day,
you hear a guy going, I want to make $30 million, I didn't get paid enough. You don't ever hear guys going, yeah, they didn't pay me yet, ever.
Is that like a boxing issue?
Well, here's what happens when you go in and you do these fights, and you make them. And Hunter, correct me if I'm wrong. You do these fights that are exhibitions or whatever. The commission isn't overseeing it. So let's say I did a fight with Mike. I got Mike fighting, Francis or something. The athletic commission gets the money up front, so they pay the fighters.
Either way, the last thing you nearly need in your life is for things to go wrong.
Shakur Stevenson stunned the boxing world with a fiery live interview, dropping a bombshell announcement about a potential clash with Gervonta Davis. The undefeated star spoke with conviction, fueling speculation on a mega fight that could redefine the lightweight division and ignite one of boxing's most anticipated rivalries.
You were showing off how you were a big shot financially when you didn't have to, really. You didn't have to do that. And now you have this egg on your face and things are falling apart. And now people are wondering, did you get screwed, or was it your own financial ignorance?
Now, he's accused in multiple lawsuits, all right, of owing millions for luxury watches, gold, and rent as well on the apartment that we just talked about, okay? And so he's got about, I want to say, I counted about 6 lawsuits.
They do what they got to do and say what they got to say to try to, to get in there and make money. It's not even going to be funny. It's going to be...
Logan Paul claims Floyd Mayweather still owes him money from their exhibition fight, suggesting financial issues and raising questions about Mayweather's current financial situation and obligations.
Doing the fight in the States with a different company. That is the company that put on the fight. That is the company that paid me. But he sold our fight with my name and likeness to someone else in Dubai for $10 million cash. It's our fight, bro. Our deal was 15%. He smoked me. So I got 15% of it. 15% of $10 million is $1.5 million. Mm-hmm. That company that paid him that money is suing him. I actually don't know the status on that lawsuit. I should check in because he still owes me money, but he has a bunch of legal trouble at the moment. That I don't think I'm ever getting the money.
He just sold his house in Vegas.
Did he really?
Yeah.
I think he's facing a bunch.
Rinsed on that house. He started at $14 million. He custom built the house, by the way, in like 2006.
Yeah.
Started at 14, reduced to 12, 10, 8 came on the market, and it was a lot of
Dana White says that Floyd earned massive wealth during his career, with the biggest payday coming from his blockbuster fight against Conor McGregor.
Biggest fights you've ever had?
Conor McGregor and Floyd Mayweather, which ironically is a boxing event, but it's the biggest combat sports fight ever.
What did that gross?
It did 4.5 million buys at $100 a buy.
Yeah. So that worked out okay.
As per Wade Plemons, Floyd mismanaged his wealth early, and after his prime ended, he returned to boxing repeatedly to recover money through exhibition fights.
Way back, again, 5 years ago now, but that was like the initial rumblings around that fight. And what Floyd did was use Mayweather Promotions to bring them this fight and say, if you'll front us this money, we'll put this fight here. They fronted him the money. He took the money, had the fight at the Hard Rock in Miami with Fanmio instead. That was the company that put it on, Fanmio. And Logan saw none of that front end 10 mil, and the people that paid Floyd the 10 mil never saw a dime back. It's nasty work what he did. But this has been like one of Floyd's MOs, is that he leverages his fight name or his quote-unquote assets, and which is what, a lot of wealthy people do. They leverage their assets to take out bigger loans or, whatever. But Floyd does it in such a reckless way that no one ever sees return on it. He just takes money. It isn't a loan.
Joe Rogan says Floyd Mayweather spent his fortune carelessly, living an extremely lavish lifestyle, treating his income like an endless flow, which may have led to financial strain.
So you buy a watch and a car, you're down 10. Mm-hmm. That's nuts. That's nuts.
Crazy.
I remember Iran Barkley was talking about that. Iran Barkley, when he was in his prime, was hanging out with all these professional athletes, and everybody was getting diamond-crusted chains and this and that, and he was keeping up with these people. Like, you got to keep up with the Joneses. And he just found himself, like, draining all of his money. He was talking about it like that was the biggest detriment to him being able to save any money.
Mm-hmm. They trying to keep up.
Yeah. Which I thought was funny when I was listening to this conversation with Chad Ochocinco. He was talking about it. He was like,
his jewelry fake.
Yeah, he was wearing fake jewelry.
But who would know?
What's that?
Who would know? He
no
Chad
one know.
Ochocinco.
Exactly.
It's
fake
like when
jewelry,
they look at him, like
flying economy. He was.
Teddy Atlas says people feel satisfied seeing Floyd struggle now because he spent years flaunting wealth and making others feel jealous of his lifestyle.
Taking shots at a great fighter, Mayweather. Probably the same people that were, applauding him and saying how great he was at one point, and now they're taking shots at him like they're almost, like they get pleasure out of seeing a great fall. Potentially
You're right.
fall. Oh yeah, like you said, he was Mayweather, Money Mayweather, and now he's suing because he went through his money, he blew his money, whatever. Look, I don't know what the truth is fully in there. I know Steven Espinoza was named. He ran Showtime at the time. He was named him. I never was a fan of Espinoza. Again, I'm not afraid to say and not mince my words when I feel a certain way. And I've taken arrows for it, and of course I've also taken some praise for it. That people say, hey, Teddy's going to say what he feels. I was never a fan of him. I never thought he was a man that kept his word. I never thought he really did a great job over at Showtime. I mean, they put some good fights on because the fights were available, because the landscape...
Dan Raphael explains that the current financial concerns surrounding Floyd Mayweather Jr. are not surprising when looking at his career and lifestyle closely. According to Raphael, this outcome could have been predicted by anyone who paid attention to how openly Mayweather handled his wealth over the years. Throughout his career, Floyd Mayweather Jr. built an image centered around luxury and excess. He consistently showcased a lifestyle filled with private jets, high-end cars, designer items, and expensive vacations. These displays were not occasional, but constant, becoming a major part of his public identity.
Contact my people again later, and hopefully I can get it this afternoon and actually read the specifics of the suit and what the allegations are. But the fact that Floyd would encounter some financial issues post his boxing career is not in any way a surprise to me. When you see the types of things that, if you believe anything that he puts on his social media, the travel that he does, the places he goes, and the amount of entourage he has, I mean, that's like a money pit. I mean, whether you're flying on private jets or you're staying at first class hotels, or you're buying expensive jewelry and cars and bags and you name it. I mean, it's all good when you're making those gigantic paydays and they're coming in, a couple times a year. You're making 40 million here and 25 million there, or even more, 100 million plus, when he fought the big mega fights with guys like Conor McGregor and Manny Pacquiao. But when that stops, that money doesn't, it goes.
While this created an aura of success and dominance, it also raised concerns about long-term financial sustainability. Dan Raphael suggests that maintaining such a lavish lifestyle requires careful financial planning, especially after retirement when a regular fixed income slows. Without proper management, even massive earnings can diminish over time. The issue is not how much money was earned, but how it was spent and preserved. Now, with reports of financial pressure and continued involvement in exhibition fights, the situation appears to reflect those earlier concerns. What once seemed like limitless wealth now highlights the importance of discipline and smart decision-making beyond the spotlight of a successful boxing career.
Allegations about the 340 million, it just didn't ring true to me, because Al Heyman, who is not named in the suit, but apparently is supposedly part of this problem, whatever. But I mean, I've known Al Heyman and covered Al Heyman's fighters and his business since the day he stepped in boxing in like 2002 with Vernon Forrest. And all that time, and literally in terms of the PBC, a couple hundred fighters that he's dealt with, maybe not personally, but that his team is and his company. To a fighter, you never hear anybody, even when they're retired and they're not with Al anymore, nobody talks bad about him. In fact, if you ask most fighters, they'll tell you how good to them that he has been, that type of money that they've helped him make, and the person that he's paid, and the guidance that he's offered.
Floyd Mayweather Jr. was once known for constant displays of luxury, presenting an image of endless wealth and financial dominance. According to the Boxing and Go host, recent developments suggest a very different situation behind the scenes. The analyst highlights a surprising financial downturn, pointing to legal action taken by Floyd Mayweather Jr. against major business partners. Over the years, Floyd Mayweather Jr. maintained close ties with influential figures like Steven Espinoza and networks such as Showtime. These partnerships played a key role in building massive fight revenues and global exposure. However, the current lawsuit reportedly worth $340 million claims that significant earnings were never properly paid.
We are going to go through in this video. Now, I've been covering boxing for double-digit years. Allow me to take you through it. A simple Google search shows Floyd Mayweather. You type in his name, you're going to see some fight photos and whatnot. But the top stories, and there's multiple stories, and we're going to take a look at some of them. But as mentioned, Business Insider is now reporting what you see on the screen, that Floyd Mayweather is being accused in lawsuits of owing millions of dollars for luxury watches, gold, and rent on palatial apartment, right? The bullet points. Floyd was sued for allegedly failing to pay rent.
This situation raises serious questions about financial management, contract transparency, and long-term planning in professional boxing. The contrast between the past public image and present legal disputes create a narrative that feels unexpected to many observers. What once appeared as complete financial control now seems more complicated, suggesting that even the most successful careers can face uncertainty when business dealings become unclear.
This sum represents the $500,000 in arrears plus late fees minus a deposit that Mayweather paid at the start of the lease and the $100,000 catch-up payment. So they deducted what he did submit when he was made aware of this, the $100K, and I guess a deposit. So the remaining balance is that. An attorney for Mayweather did not provide a comment by deadline. He has not responded to the lawsuit in court. In a separate legal matter, so we've already went over one with this luxury condo in Manhattan, right? But a separate legal matter, a Miami jeweler sued Floyd Mayweather last month, alleging the boxer owes more than $1 million for jewelry that he took. But
Coach Malachi explains that Floyd Mayweather Jr. is currently involved in a major legal dispute, claiming that around $340 million was either taken or mismanaged through dealings with Steven Espinoza at Showtime. He suggests that the structure of these agreements may have removed liability from certain individuals, especially Al Heyman. Depending on what was written in the contracts, according to Malachi, if those contract terms are accurate, it explains why Al Heyman is not included in the lawsuit.
In the contract, guess what? Al Heyman is clear. And now it explains why Floyd don't have Al Heyman in the lawsuit. He can't sue him. Come on, man. Al covered his tracks. Now, he may be getting sued by big corporations, stuff like that, but he's not being sued by any fighter. They can't sue him. You get what I'm saying? Floyd Mayweather messed up. And adds insult to injury, Floyd Mayweather has a gambling problem and he spends a lot of money. He loves to spend money. So whatever he have that's in his possession.
The discussion highlights how complex financial agreements in boxing can protect key figures from legal consequences. At the same time, Malachi claims that financial habits also play a role, pointing out that Floyd Mayweather Jr. is known for heavy spending and a lifestyle that includes significant gambling and luxury expenses. He further suggests that even while claiming unpaid earnings from major fights, including bouts with top opponents, money management remains a concern. The overall perspective presented is that both contractual structures and personal financial decisions have contributed to the current situation, making it a complicated mix of business strategy and lifestyle choices within the sport.
You've been praising him and worshiping him. Continue to praise him and worship him then. You get what I'm saying? You dig? True. And another thing, let's thank Al Heyman.
Well, you know, I guess I gotta be like everybody else and thank Al Heyman
That's what y'all been doing. You pro Al Heyman and PBC YouTube channels, and a lot of you fan bases online. That's what you've been doing. Continue to praise him then. Al is a smart businessman. He finessed the game. Let's give Al Heyman a round of applause. Good job, Al. You did a good job. And this is a lesson to all of those out there, you know, who think because you signed with the black man that you will not be taken advantage of and the white man is the evil devil. If that's your position, there ain't nothing wrong with that. I don't have a problem with however you feel either way. But just understand, when someone wants to steal from you, they don't recognize.
Tasha K explains that even when Floyd Mayweather Jr. appears to have enormous wealth, the reality behind the scenes can be far more complex. Large earnings do not always mean complete financial security, especially when there are hidden obligations, ongoing deals, and delayed payments that are not visible to the public. According to Tasha K, these unseen financial pressures can slowly build up and place anyone in a difficult position, regardless of how successful they seem on the surface.
Distracted, spending. And when you see somebody like Floyd Mayweather, that's the oldest trick in the book, y'all. Y'all know. When y'all see somebody flogging money everywhere, they got this, they got that, they got this. Was it Gervonta Davis? Tank told us 2 years ago that the reason they held Floyd Mayweather, you can put it back on the screen, captive in Dubai is because he had owed them money and they wouldn't release him until he announced the fight to give them their money back. You know they do that over there in Dubai, right? You ain't going nowhere if you owe a debt. He was trapped over there for almost 2 months, according to Gervonta. They shared the same manager, Al Layman, who collected money in cash because Floyd Mayweather gave him a power of attorney to do so. And so when Floyd went down there and sued Showtime, he's suing Showtime, the company, the network, that publicizes these fights.
She highlights a common financial trap: spending freely while responsibilities quietly accumulate. In the case of Floyd Mayweather Jr., the constant display of luxury may give the impression of unlimited resources. But behind that image, there could be high outgoing costs, investments, and commitments that require continuous cash flow. When income slows down or becomes inconsistent, these obligations can quickly create pressure. Tasha K's perspective emphasizes that wealth is not only about how much money is earned, but also about how it is managed over time. Without careful planning, even massive fortunes can face strain. This situation reflects how financial overextension can happen quietly, turning success into stress when spending habits remain high while unseen liabilities continue to grow in the background.
His money in cash to his manager, Al Layman, and Al Layman spent the money. The Muslim in the bow tie spent the money. You see a man coming and he a Muslim in a bow tie, he's spending your money. Oh, it's gone. It's good, it's gone. You know they send the Nation of Islam down there. You seen the Muhammad Ali story? Don't act like you ain't seen that. Nation of Islam was all up over there. They were all up over Floyd Mayweather's fights and bank accounts and stuff. And so he received it in cash, and Floyd Mayweather is saying he's missing it and how dare Showtime gives him the money without his permission. He was like, well, wait a minute, but you gave him permission. Yeah, but I didn't tell y'all, I told him. So he's trying to use a way to get in there so he can hold him responsible because he know he's not going to get the money back from the Nation of Islam at all. That money gone. That money gone.
Paulie Malignaggi explains that much of the scrutiny around Floyd Mayweather Jr. comes from how openly he displayed his wealth throughout his career. According to Malignaggi, if those finances had remained private, far fewer people would question his situation today. Instead, the constant showcasing of luxury created curiosity and invited deeper examination from fans and analysts. Over the years, Floyd Mayweather Jr. built a public image centered on wealth, regularly presenting expensive cars, private jets, and stacks of cash.
How much Floyd was making, right? And Floyd himself was flaunting himself like he was the guy who was making that kind of money. And for all intents and purposes, I assume he was. Everybody assumed he was, and it seemed like he thought he was because he wasn't complaining. He was showing off, you know? This is why, as I get older, I feel like, and everybody always tells you this when you're young, like, keep your finances private, you know, and this is why I think this is a big reason why First and foremost, you notice that if you don't keep your finances private, everybody and their mothers ask you for money constantly, and they don't ask you.
That happens either way.
And they don't ask you. Well, people assume you have money, but if you flaunt it, you definitely they confirm you have money. And they don't ask you for money like you need to buy the Rolex or the Lamborghini. They'll guilt you into it. They need their mother's dying in the hospital. They need to pay for a funeral.
While this strengthened his brand, it also meant that any shift in financial stability would immediately attract attention. Malik Nagy suggests that this visibility has now led people to question not only his current financial position, but also his past decisions regarding money management and investments. The discussion is not simply about whether he is broke, but about the perception created by years of public display. When someone presents an image of endless wealth, any sign of change becomes highly noticeable. Malik Nagy believes that smarter financial privacy could have avoided much of this speculation. But now every move is analyzed closely, raising ongoing questions about decisions, investments, and long-term financial planning.
No, honestly. But offhand, you're asking me what my thoughts are offhand. I can never... Listen, when I had a lot of money, I was a lot of times spending more, and I wasn't tracking every single cent, right? I mean, I was kind of reckless. I was young. I was, a pro athlete. I went from having nothing to having a bunch of money. So, yeah, I'm not always tracking it as well as I should. But... Bro, if I'm missing a lot of difference money, if there's a huge difference, I'm going to track it automatically just because it's so obvious. $340 million, no matter how much money you're making, $340 million does not slip through the cracks like you said.
Third of $1 billion.
It's not, I don't know. Like, there's guys who have a lot of money, okay? For me, I could go into a jewelry store, spend $20,000 at the time, like nothing. Like, you know what? I didn't plan on going there. I bought a Ferrari. I went with my friend to go check out a.
No, we got